Man, 93 degrees here in Texas today, guys. It's hot. I'm not gonna lie, I love it. I wish it was a little bit cooler, but I'm pretty happy. I'd be remiss if I didn't wish everyone a happy Mother's Day today, either to you individually or to your mom. So, happy Mother's Day, everyone. I need to go ahead and give you a garden tour today because I'll be gone this upcoming weekend. Let me go ahead and give you a tour of the yard, show you a couple things that aren't the greatest news, but you live and learn in gardening, and that's what it's all about, learning. And let me go ahead and take you on a tomato tour first, then I'll just show the rest of the garden and get you all up to speed. So we'll start with the tomatoes, like I said. You can see here we've got one of the heirloom tomatoes right here. We've got a few fruit sets on this one as well, as you can see right here. So I'm happy about that. We've got a few more tomatoes down here, looking pretty good. A few more on this one, looks like there's 3 of them. And the birds were pecking at that one. And I'll talk about the birds here in a little bit. And several more over here. So that's pretty cool. And then I've got a nice looking large one right here. And I'm really nervous about leaving this one out here too much longer. It's just starting to turn a little bit yellow, which means it's going to start turning red here real soon. And that's nerve-wracking because the birds are attacking like crazy. These Texas Mockingbirds are crazy. I've got another heirloom right here. No fruit sets on this yet. These were the tomato weeds that I've been growing, and guys, they've grown like crazy. Just judging by the look of some of these, I'm thinking that these are last year's black cherry tomatoes. And there's several ones in this pot. So we have some black cherry tomatoes. We have some regular grape tomatoes. And then maybe even some red on the vines that I've grown before. You can see that this guy is loaded with red on the vine, it appears, tomatoes. And there's some nice larger ones down there too. There's tomatoes everywhere. I don't even know what I'm going to do with all these tomatoes. Well, I know I'm gonna eat a lot of them, but I might have to give some of these away. And then even back here, looks like we have some more of those black cherry tomatoes. We have some regular standard Sweet 100 cherry tomatoes coming in over here. And there are a lot on this plant. It's really starting to get loaded down with them. I mean, everywhere you look, there's tomatoes. Looks like we got one back here that's starting to turn. And you know what? I'll go ahead and pick this now. If I don't pick them when they're at this stage, the birds will get them. So I got to keep grabbing them as I can, but I'll just give you more of a look at all the different tomatoes coming in on this plant. Even some fresh started ones right here. Some more down here. And even back there. So tomatoes everywhere. I've added a few more of the tomato weeds over here. Over here we've got some more of those Sweet 100 grape cherry tomatoes. Judging by the size of these and the shape, probably more like grape tomatoes. And we'll go ahead and grab this one as well. These guys will take about 3 to 4 days tops on my counter in my kitchen to turn bright red and real sweet. On my patio, I had some more of those tomato weeds, and I planted them in a pot like I showed you last time. And once again, the tomato action is ridiculous. And then even some more red on the vines back here, which are looking pretty good. And then on this bed, I have a couple of heirloom brandywine tomato plants. We've got one that's growing in nicely here. Another one that's coming in nicely right there. And then on this side, we've got a nice brandywine there. We've got another one down here. Another nice large one coming in right here. And even another one down in there. Adjacent to this bed, when I added that extra raised bed for tomatoes, I put my San Marzanos in here. You can clearly see we've got some really nice large San Marzanos down here. You know, we got some more back over here. You got another one back over there. And we've got some other ones coming in, some up here. You got some fresh setting ones all along it. and for sake of time, I won't bore you with every single fruit set. Now I'll take you to the tomatoes in the greenhouse. Before I take you inside here, let me go ahead and show you a video I recorded about a week ago from the birds and show you a few pictures of what they did before I put this netting up around it so they couldn't get in. So I had a feeling the birds would find a way into this greenhouse because the holes are a little bigger than they need to be for birds. They're for rabbits. And as you can see clearly, birds spent hours eating one of my nearly ripened brandywines and had started to go crazy on my other nearly ripening brandywine. And somehow they've missed this one so far, but I'll have to pull it off the branch early. Just wanted to give you a close-up look at the brandywine tomatoes that the birds got to. You can see that they were definitely doing a number on them. You know it's birds by the shape of the holes, so that's a little bit bad. But this one, they didn't touch. So I'm going to leave it indoors, and we'll let it ripen in the house over the next week or so. So it's been about a week, and you can see by leaving it inside on the counter in the kitchen at room temperature, it's ripened all on its own, and it's ready to be eaten. There's like 30 fruit sets in here. It's crazy. We've got several fruit sets on this plant here, a couple down there, a nice 3-pack of them in here. We've got another larger one coming in down there. This one back here has a couple sets there, a couple of fruit sets down there. Got a nice fruit set here, a couple more right there, and this really large one back there. I'll give you a better shot of it from a different angle, but it's huge and it's just starting to get yellow. But I don't have to worry about pulling these out anymore, I don't think, because of the screening that I put on, or the netting that I put on, that keeps the birds out, hopefully. Again, we got more fruit sets all on these. I mean, these brandywines, they produce like crazy. I love it. So hopefully now that I've got the netting up, the rest of these plants will do much better. I might end up just going ahead and taking all of this netting and eventually just run it around the whole thing and get rid of the white tarp altogether and replace it next year, or at least in the fall. Okay everyone, that's what I've got on the tomatoes. Now let me get you started on the rest of the garden tour, and we'll take you around the first side first and see how we're doing. So we also have some sugar snap peas again. As soon as I thought that these guys were goners, they just keep putting out sugar snap peas, and these things are absolutely incredible to eat. So the garlic's still hanging on for dear life. The cilantro looks like it's starting to bolt a little bit. That's expected in the Texas heat. Now the hot peppers are not doing that well, guys. The New Mexico Big Jims are doing okay, but I can't get these guys healthy. I've side dressed them with some fertilizer, as you can see, so I'm not going to bore you with the details on the hot peppers. Only the Reapers are doing the best. Everything else does not look that good. This happened last year with my hot peppers. They took forever to get going. Then they grew like crazy, but they didn't put out pods or set pods. And then all of a sudden, they went crazy on pod sets, and then the freeze hit. And if you watch last year's garden series, you'll see what happened to them. I got thousands harvested when they were still green, and they just never, ever, ever really produced like I wanted. So I took some precautions, and I figured, you know what, I'm not going to seed start them. It's too late. Let me go ahead and buy some plants that I can just put right into the ground. So I've added a couple of orange habanero peppers right here. I put a couple of more serrano peppers right here, and then a few mammoth jalapenos, and this is just as a precaution. Now I did start some Black Beauty heirloom zucchini from seed, so I brought them outside. We have a big problem with vine borers here, but we'll see. I'm hoping that they do well this year because I love myself some zucchini. I also picked up at Lowe's, since I was there, and I love the ornamental sunflowers. I picked up a couple of ornamental sunflowers. I just put these in the ground today, so they're a little bit droopy, but they'll come back fine, and these guys will help bring some more pollinators to this side of the yard, because what I'm noticing is on my cucumbers, it's putting out a lot of flowers, but I'm not getting a whole bunch of production. Matter of fact, I'm not getting any fruit sets. I don't know if I'm gonna get some cucumbers. It's gonna get really hot before it gets not hot, and we'll have to see what happens on these. Over here I have my green bean plants, and I've picked several green beans off of these guys already, and I'll insert a clip of what I picked off last time. These things are so tasty, guys. They're delicious. I'll go ahead and show you what they look like. I picked all of them off that I could, but I'll insert a photo right now and show you the harvest that I got on those. Okay, so over here I have my cantaloupes. They're doing really well as far as growth, and they're putting out tons and tons of flowers, but I've ran into a new problem this year. Never had it happen before. There's a little tiny colony of black ants that lives over here, and I didn't know that because I didn't have this bed last year. And every morning that these flowers open up, the black ants go inside the flower, pull all the pollen out, and then once the day gets hot, they're gone. And so is the pollen. See how there's a few ants in there grabbing all the pollen? Crazy. I might have to put some ant traps out here and get rid of this colony. I don't want to spray the foliage. I don't want to do anything that might kill the cantaloupe. They're pretty sensitive, but we'll figure it out. Hoping I get some cantaloupe. Basil's doing really well. We've got a couple of serrano peppers over here coming in. So I'm excited about getting some serrano peppers this year on this side of the yard. It's pretty cool. The sweet potato vines, or the slips that I started, are doing really well. They're starting to come in and fill out. And then finally over here, we've got a couple of regular jalapeno peppers. This one has only one fruit set because it's such a large jalapeno, guys. Probably almost time to pick it and let this plant get back to focusing on its foliage and on flowers again. The watermelon, the Charleston Gray, and the Jubilee watermelons, you know, they struggle a little bit, but they're looking pretty good now. No flowers yet, so looks like we're getting close to some flowers on these. It's getting late in the season. These guys got to get a flower set in the next 45 days instead of fruit. Otherwise, we're not going to get very many watermelons this year. And then the grapevine, guys, is going crazy. It's not going to produce any grapes this year, unfortunately, unless it gets a late season flower set. You know, it's only on its second year, so possibly it just wasn't quite ready to produce flowers this year. I don't think I'm going to get anything, so in the meantime, we'll just grow the heck out of them, let them get a little crazy, let them vine like crazy, and then I will trim them back this year, and hopefully we'll get some grape sets next year. So there you have it, everyone. That's my garden tour for this week. Again, I'll get you another one in a couple of weeks. I'm really hoping that while I'm away for 4 or 5 days, the pests don't just destroy everything, or the garden doesn't go through heck. I think we all, as gardeners, when we're away, we worry about our gardens. But anyway, I'm pretty excited about what's going on, what's growing on, what's coming up. But the summer means dormant flowers, bugs, and less pod sets. But I'm still super excited. As always, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any comments or suggestions or any advice or tips, leave them down below. Thanks for watching, and happy Mother's Day.